We're continuing our OHL history playlist, going season by season as we fill this 2025 off season for the Ontario Hockey League. And today we're going to talk about the 2013-2014 season. And leading up to this year, there was always speculation about the future of the Brampton Battalion. Would they move? And if they did, where would they go? And a lot of people wanted to see North Bay back in the OHL circuit. And that's exactly what we've got here in the 2013-2014 season, as this was the first team back in North Bay since the Centennials relocated to Saginaw. There were a lot of question marks going into this season about the fan base. Would they support the battalion? Would they be able to keep a team long term? Well, here at the time of recording, they've now been there over a decade, and support still seems pretty strong. So I think it's been a success so far, but I think also the play on the ice has helped a lot with this battalion team. But let's dive into this year, starting off with the standings in the West Division. The Sioux Greyhounds, they were leading the way, a record of 44-17-2-5, good for 95 points. Second, though, the Windsor Spitfires, 37-28-3, 77 points. Saginaw Spirit found themselves third in the division, 33-34-1, 71 points. The Plymouth Whalers, they would come in fourth with a record of 28-33-0-7 for 63 points. While the Sarnia Sting would miss the playoffs with a record of 17-44-2-5 for 41 points. In the Midwest Division, what a year it was. The Guelph Storm, 52-12-2-2 for 108 points. The Erie Otters, also with 52 wins to their credit, but with 14 losses and two losses in overtime. 106 points would be their total. Third in the division, the London Knights, 49-14-1-4, 103 points. So just outstanding, seeing three teams over the 100-point mark. And then you have the Owen Sound Attack. They were fourth with a record of 31-29-3-5 for 70 points. And missing the playoffs would be the Kitchener Rangers with a record of 22-41-2-3 for 49 points. Over in the Central Division, the North Bay Battalion, boy, oh boy, did they make their presence known. They finished first in the Central, 38-24-4-2 for 82 points. Second, the Barrie Colts with a record of 37-28-1-2 for 77 points. The Sudbury Wolves finished third with a record of 33-24-3-8, 77 points. The Niagara Ice Dogs, they'd be fourth with a record of 24-35-3-6 for 57 points. And the Mississauga Steelheads, fifth in the division, 24-38-1-5 was their record for 54 points, and they would make the playoffs. From the East Division, the Oshawa Generals would come in first, 42-20-6, 90 points. The Kingston Frontenacs, they were second with a record of 39-23-3-3 for 84 points, while the Peterborough Petes, third with a record of 32-30-0-6 for 70 points. And then missing the playoffs with the Belleville Bulls with a record of 23-38-4-3 for 53 points, while the Ottawa 67s also missing the playoffs with a record of 23-39-3-3 for 52 points. So the Ontario Hockey League this season would host its very first outdoor game. It would be between the Saginaw Spirit and the Windsor Spitfires. It was held at Comerica Park in Detroit, the home of the Tigers. The Windsor Spitfires would actually win that game by a score of 6-5 in front of 25,749 fans. It was quite the atmosphere outdoors between the Spirit and the Windsor Spitfires. But there was also a second outdoor game held on that same day. It featured the Plymouth Whalers and the London Knights. Now, this one set a record 26,384 fans. That was a CHL record at the time, and it was a 2-1 win in a shootout for the Plymouth Whalers, who were the home team in that hockey game. There was also tragedy this season coming out of Saginaw. Terry Trafford, he went missing for 8 days, but then he was found inside his vehicle. The league at this point, they would go on to create the Talk Today program alongside the Canadian Mental Health Association to raise awareness. What's really tough is how I know as a society we're often reactionary. So if a tragic event happens, we usually then come up with programs to help players. So obviously, what happened with Trafford, it's a huge tragedy surrounding the Saginaw Spirit, and with mental health being a big factor here. It's great to see that the league responded accordingly, but still, still not an easy situation to go through. The Saginaw Spirit, the players, management, and even the Billet family. So everyone involved really, they were shook by this event. And obviously, We still think of the family of Trafford and all those involved with the situation. Now let's go into the top scorers of the 2013-2014 season. Leading the way would be Connor Brown of the Erie Otters. 45 goals, 83 assists, 128 points. Dane Fox, second in scoring, also from the Erie Otters, 64 goals, 43 assists, 107 points. Third, Scott Kosmachuk of the Guelph Storm, 48 goals, 52 assists, 100 points. Connor McDavid, fourth in scoring, also from the Erie Otters, 28 goals, 71 assists, 99 points. Oh, so close to hitting 100. And then from the Barrie Colts, we have Andreas Athanasiou, 49 goals, 46 assists, 95 points. Michael Dal Cole from the Oshawa Generals had 39 goals, 56 assists, 95 points. Nikolai Goldobin of the Sarnia Sting, he was seventh in scoring, 38 goals, 56 assists, 94 points. Max Domi of the London Knights, he had 34 goals, 59 assists, 93 points. Sam Bennett, ninth in scoring from the Kingston Frontenacs, 36 goals, 55 assists, 91 points. And rounding out the top 10 from the Sioux Greyhounds, it was Sergei Tolchinsky, 31 goals, 60 assists for 91 points. Looking at the playoff bracket, the Guelph Storm, they needed 5 games to eliminate the Plymouth Whalers, while the Sioux Greyhounds and Owen Sound Attack, they had a bit of a rivalry during the 2010s, and it was the Greyhounds who had the upper hand in this series, winning it in 5 games. The Erie Otters, they took care of the Saginaw Spirit in 5, while the London Knights complete the series sweep of the Windsor Spitfires. Over in the Eastern Conference, it would be the Oshawa Generals taking care of business against the Mississauga Steelheads in 4 games. The North Bay Battalion, though, they needed 7 games to get past the Niagara Ice Dogs in the first round. The Kingston Frontenacs upset by the Peterborough Petes in 7. And if my memory serves me right, the Kingston Frontenacs were up 3-0 in this best-of-7 series, and the Petes came back to win it in 7. While the Barrie Colts, they would defeat the Sudbury Wolves in 5 games. And this one was hard. I was covering the Wolves this season. They went all in. They brought in players like Radek Faksa and Trevor Carrick, but they fell apart in the last few weeks of the regular season. They were challenging for top spot in the Central and ended up finishing 5th in the Eastern Conference and knocked out in 5 to the Barrie Colts. A bit of a disappointing end to that season for the Sudbury Wolves. Now, in the second round of the playoffs, Guelph, they would eliminate the London Knights in 5 games, while the Erie Otters upset the Sioux Greyhounds in 4. Although the Erie Otters, they did have more points than the Greyhounds at the end of the regular season. And then in the Eastern Conference picture, the Oshawa Generals, they defeat the Peterborough Petes in 4 straight, while the North Bay Battalion, they needed 6 games to take care of the Barrie Colts. For the conference final, in the West, it would be the Guelph Storm and Erie Otters, and the Storm, they would advance to the OHL Championship in 5 games, while the North Bay Battalion, they just continue to march along in their first season back in the OHL. They would sweep the Oshawa Generals to win the Eastern Conference Championship. So for the J. Ross Robertson Cup, there was a lot of hype around this North Bay Battalion team. First year for the battalion up in North Bay, but they ran out of steam against this very solid Guelph Storm organization, as the Storm would win the J. Ross Robertson Cup in 5 games. So at the Memorial Cup, it was held in London. So the Knights appearing in 3 straight Memorial Cups. They would also be joined by the Val d'Or of the QMJHL and the Edmonton Oil Kings from the WHL. Now, the London Knights, not a great round robin. They ended up going 0-3, so they wouldn't make it to the tiebreaker. While the Guelph Storm, they were a perfect 3-0. Guelph was just a team on a mission at the 2014 Memorial Cup. Now, in the semifinal game between Val d'Or and Edmonton, they would go to triple overtime, making this the longest game in Memorial Cup history, and the Oil Kings ended up winning that game 4-3. So in the Memorial Cup final, the Guelph Storm, they would take on the Edmonton Oil Kings, and despite being perfect in the round robin, it would be Guelph falling to the Edmonton Oil Kings by a final score of 6-3. The Guelph Storm so close to winning a Memorial Cup in their rivals' home arena. That would have been something for Guelph Storm fans if their team could have completed that championship run that season. But still, quite remarkable what this Guelph Storm organization was able to do in 2014, and just really how underrated the Storm organization is in general. We talk a lot about teams like the London Knights, the Windsor Spitfires, the 67s, but we don't usually talk too much about the Guelph Storm. And this season, another example of just how good this team can be. And yeah, they just continue to take names as they go along on some of these championship runs. Now, looking at your award winners for this season, the Red Tilson and Eddie Powers Memorial Trophy both went to Connor Brown of the Erie Otters, while the Matt Layden Trophy went to DJ Smith of the Oshawa Generals. Connor Brown, he would also win the Jim Mahan Memorial Trophy from the Erie Otters, while Aaron Ekblad of the Barrie Colts won the Max Kaminsky Trophy. The OHL Goaltender of the Year, Alex Nedeljkovic of the Plymouth Whalers. Dave Pickney Trophy would go to Oscar Dansk and Devin Williams of the Erie Otters. The Ems Family Award went to Travis Konechny of the Ottawa 67s. The William Hanley Trophy, that would go to Connor McDavid of the Erie Otters. The Patrick Watling of the Sioux Greyhounds, he won the Roger Nielsen Memorial Award, while the Ivan Tennant Memorial Award went to Adam Krevich of the Guelph Storm. The Mickey Renaud Captain's Trophy went to Matt Finn of the Guelph Storm, while Michael McLeod of the Toronto Marlboros was named the Tim Adams Memorial Trophy winner of the season, and the Wayne Gretzky 99 Award for playoff MVP went to Robbie Fabry of the Guelph Storm. So that's the 2013-14 OHL season. The Guelph Storm, OHL champions once again. And yeah, like I said, I feel like Guelph, one of the more underrated teams in the Ontario Hockey League. So if there's something that stands out to you from the 13-14 season, love to see it down in the comments section. Thank you very much for all your support. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't clicked subscribe already, and we will talk to you again soon.